Hello, everybody. Welcome back to TonySpace.com. Now, time for our NBA rundown from Joseph Schultz, our unit leader over at TonySpace.com for 2024 as well as 2023. He's been on a tear here at TonySpace.com since joining our site over 14 and a half months ago. We'll get all six games here, a pick from all six games from Joseph Schultz here from the NBA. Let's bring him in right now. Joseph, how's it going? We can see here your record in 2023, 2024. Very impressive, over 5,500 units of profit.
Hey Tony, what's up? I'm doing well. Looking to get into these games.
Absolutely ready to roll here with these games here. As we'll cover every game on the board here from the NBA for this 6-game card. So we'll get started here. TNT with a doubleheader tonight, and we'll get started with the Suns and Celtics going head to head here. We see the Celtics at home laying 5.5. The total sits here at 229.
Yeah, these two teams just played not too long ago, March 9th. The Celtics got the 10-point win in Phoenix. Porzingis was out that game, and he'll be out as well in this one. Jaylen Brown is questionable. I think they're likely to sit him as well. That last game, it was a good spot for the Celtics in a revenge spot. They had lost the last two games in a row before that, so they needed a bounce back, and they were rested. Now they'll be playing their third game in 4 nights, fourth game in 6 nights, and their first home game after 5 straight on the road. Boston also played their last game in the altitude in Utah. The Suns will be motivated in a revenge spot. Josh Okogie will still be out. Eric Gordon's questionable, but I think they probably get Nasir Little back in this one, so it helps them a little with their depth. The Celtics are just so good that they're still beating most teams, but they almost seem to be on cruise control at this point, just heading towards the playoffs. Nobody's going to catch them in the East, so they don't have any motivation to do anything but to just pick up a couple wins here and there and stay healthy. I'm leaning heavily towards the Suns in this game.
All right, Joseph Schultz, top unit producer at TonySpeed.com, past 14 and a half months. Suns and Celtics. Says the Suns here at plus the 5.5. Looking for Joseph's premium plays. Just get the link in the description and go ahead and get signed up. Let's continue here on our NBA rundown here for Thursday. Every game on the board. We continue here with 76ers and Bucks. We see the Bucks home favorites 8.5. The total coming in at 222.
Yeah, the Bucks are a hard team to figure out. Just when I think I have them figured out, they it's almost like they change. So they started off the year with one of the best records, and they end up firing their coach, and then they go 3-8 in Doc Rivers' first 11 games before the All-Star break. They come out of the break, they win 6 straight. They have the number 1 defense, and then now they've lost 3 out of 4, and they've allowed 120 or more points in each of those 4 games, which is more concerning than losing 3 out of the 4. It's hard not only to figure out Milwaukee, but this game in particular. Both teams could be motivated by revenge. The Sixers, because they lost their last meeting with the Bucks by 21, and the Bucks because it's Doc Rivers' old team. This will be Milwaukee's first home game after 4 on the road. It's not usually a spot I like to back teams in. Both teams have only covered once in their last 4 games and are in need of a bounce-back win. This is an important game for both teams. Milwaukee is tied for 2nd in the East. Philly's tied for 6th, which is really important. If they can hang on, they avoid the play-in. I think this is a close call, but 8.5 is a little too much for an inconsistent Bucks team against a desperate Philly team. So I lean towards the Sixers plus the points.
Joseph Schultz, get his premium plays at TonySpace.com. 76ers and Bucks. He likes the 76ers here at plus the 8.5. All right, let's continue here on our NBA rundown. Next here on the board will be the Clippers and the Bulls. We see the Clippers road favorite 7. The total coming at 214.5.
This number is growing, man. Believe it opened at like 4 or 4.5. Harden is questionable. Kawhi left last game in the first quarter, and he's questionable for this game. For what it's worth, I think they just play it safe and go on and rest Kawhi. Harden, if he can go, he usually goes. He doesn't like to have rest days. Chicago will have a huge rest disadvantage. They just played an overtime game against a fast-paced Indy team. Um, this will also be their second game of a back-to-back, their third game in 4 nights, fourth game in 6 nights, and sixth game in 9 nights. So they've been playing a lot of basketball. They've played in a different arena 7 straight games, so they've been traveling all around. And this could also be a potential flat spot, having just won a big game. DeMar DeRozan had a huge game last night. He scored 46, but he also played 44 minutes and looked absolutely exhausted. All of the starters played at least 36 minutes. Cody White didn't even play in the overtime period. I didn't see him get hurt or anything, and he wasn't fouled out. So I'm assuming he was exhausted or something like that. This is an absolute Clipper spot. I lean heavily towards the Clippers.
All right, Joseph, let's get his screen plays over at TonySpace.com. Clippers and Bulls. He likes the Clippers here at -7. Yeah, White limped off was a very violent scene there. That violent scene with Siakam blocking the shot late in the game and falling on White. White landed funky on his legs. He did like the splits and he was kind of limping off. He missed the overtime period. Playoff type atmosphere in that game with Indiana and Chicago.
Okay, well that explains that. I'm flipping through the game. Somehow I missed that.
Oh yeah. I was trying to keep up all this action with these tournament games in the NBA. I'm just kind of going through the rundown here and looking at the NBA TV right now. They're kind of going through the playout. I just saw that violent collision there with Siakam, and you got to look at it. Siakam and White. I mean, the way they played that end game, it's felt like a playoff game. We're starting to see some really intense action right now. Clippers here -7. White, probably the look of things, I don't think he's going to play. It did not look good with that splits and limping off the court. Looked like I wouldn't be surprised if it's a groin pull or a hyperextended thigh. There's going to be some issue there. I doubt it. He'll play in a back-to-back here. Clippers like
that 24 hours later, he's going to probably be out.
Yep, no doubt about that. Clippers laying the 7 in this one. Let's continue here on our NBA rundown here for action here on Thursday. Next up will be the Wizards and the Rockets going head-to-head here. We see the Rockets laying 8.5, total 225.5.
So the Rockets have an outside shot at the final play-in spot in the West. They've had success recently going 4-1 straight up and against the spread in their last 5 games. I don't think they reached a play-in or anything like that, especially that Alfred Sengun is going to be out for an extended period. It's just too important to this team. They do have a good chance to pick up a win here, though, against a terrible Washington team that's not really trying to win, especially if Rashawn Holmes is out again. The Wizards have no depth with their bigs, and it would act, like I said, a great matchup for Houston to pick up a win because without Sengun, the Wizards can't really take advantage of that. If the number wasn't so big, I'd actually like this a lot, but there's just no way I could back Washington. It would be Houston or nothing for me.
All right, Joseph Schultz, get his best bets over at TonySpace.com. Wizards and Rockets says the Rockets here at laying the 8.5. All right, let's continue here on our NBA rundown for this 6-game card on Thursday. We continue here with Knicks and Trailblazers. We see the Knicks here, road favorites 10.5. The total coming at 207.5.
Knicks opened up as 7.5-point favorites. This number was steamed right away. Now it's as high as 10.5, and it might even go up a little more. I'm not exactly sure on that, but it's definitely not going to go back down. The Knicks are starting to get healthy. They're still waiting on Randall and Mitchell, but they got OG Anunoby back, who's huge. They have a really good record in games that he plays. And they're back. They got him back, and they're looking to make up for some of those losses when they had almost all of their key guys out except for Brunson. They're fighting off Orlando for 4th in the East, and Portland's on the second game of a back-to-back, third game in 4 nights. Sue Henderson's on a minute restriction, so I wouldn't be surprised if he pops up on an injury report and maybe misses this game. I don't have a ton on this game, but it's Knicks or nothing. I don't trust the Blazers, and the Knicks are highly motivated.
All right, Joseph Schultz, get his best bets at Tony'sPicks.com. Knicks and Trailblazers, says the Knicks here, laying the 10.5. Looking for Joseph's best bets, guys. Just click the link in the description. Get on over there. You see the promo code TonyT at checkout. That will save you the 20% off. All right, let's close out this card here for Thursday with the TNT game, doubleheader game with the Mavericks and the Thunder going head-to-head here. We see the Thunder laying 9.5, the total 237.
Now, for those of you that watched the last show, I said that you guys should keep an eye on the Warriors and the Mavericks game last night and see if the Mavericks won the game first and then second, as long as it wasn't a blowout. I was hoping for like overtime just to put it over the top, but you don't need that. I just needed the starters to play at least a regular amount of minutes. Now, I said that I said to grab Oklahoma City right as soon as that game was ended, and because the number would shoot up, and I believe it opened at 6. I definitely saw 6.5. So, and I don't know where you're seeing 9.5, but I've seen 10 already. So it stayed there for a little while, and as soon as that game was open, it shot up. Now, Dallas will be on their second game of a back-to-back, third game in 4 nights, fourth game in 6 nights. Oklahoma City will be getting Jalen Williams back, maybe their second most important player to the team, definitely their third if you want to give Chet second most important. SGA will be looking to further separate himself from Luka in MVP voting in a nationally televised game on TNT. The Thunder will also be looking for revenge after losing by 35 points in an absolute beatdown the last time they faced Dallas. They'll also be looking to bounce back after a loss to the Pacers. This will be OKC's 4th straight home game, so there's a good spot for them. And I could only look towards the Thunder in a bounce-back spot with revenge, motivation, and a rest advantage.
All right, Joseph. So let's get his best bets over at Tony'sPicks.com. Mavericks and Thunder here. Look and do your line shopping. And of course, as we film here, some of these lines have just opened. This game, finished about a few hours ago. So we see 9.5. There are some 10.5s out there. There is some news on Doncic. He did leave that game late. If you had watched it, reported of hamstring soreness. So he left the game late, did not return. So keep an eye there. Hamstring soreness for Doncic will be probably likely questionable heading into this game. Thunder here laying the 9.5. All right.
Sorry, Tom. I wouldn't be surprised if they sit Luka, because this is almost like a scheduling just loss. Like, chalk it up. Like, you know how sometimes just chalk up certain spots where they're like, we'll just get the players right for the next week or whatever. I just don't think that the Mavericks are even going to be able to compete in this game. So maybe they just go ahead and sit him.
And we've seen some ugly losses by the Mavericks without Luka in the lineup. I know there's been some pretty ugly losses they suffered.
Yeah, I'd be shocked if this is single digits.
All right, Thunder here laying the 9.5. All right, Joseph, let's take a look over at Tony'sPicks.com here for the card on Thursday. 6-game card here from the NBA. Also, a lot of conference tournaments action here on a busy Thursday in college hoops. Again, unit leader for Tony'sPicks.com is Joseph Schultz for 2023 and 2024. When you do the math, add them together, 5,547 units of profit the last 14 and a half months. On these multi-capper sites that document plays, I don't think you're going to see anybody better than this, to be honest with you. Joseph, what do you have going over at the site?
Yeah, man, I live this stuff, almost 20. If I'm not sleeping, I'm watching games, I'm researching, I'm studying, I'm staying ahead of the schedule. That's how I came up with that Oklahoma City play. I was already looking towards it. So I'll be already on even tomorrow's games after a little bit of sleep here. But I'm going to have my favorite play for just $15. It's going to be out of the NBA. I already know what it is. And I'm going to have at least a 3-pack from the NBA. I can't guarantee a 5-pack, but at least a strong 3-pack. And it may even have some college plays for tomorrow. Now, there's always the 3-day packs, the week, the month, and the year-long for extra value for those who, wager all year long.
That's right, guys. Get over Joseph Schultz over at Tony'sPicks.com. Flash the numbers again for you right now. Over the past 2 years, combined 5,547 units of profit, all documented over at Tony'sPicks.com. Go to Joseph Handicapper page. Click the link in the description. It'll land you right on this page right here. And here you'll be able to scroll and see the numbers here. We actually have the last 2 years right next to each other. Do the math. You can see it. You can see the performance here from Joseph. And outstanding. As you scroll down, you'll find his plays. We'll have some one-day passes up there. Or these are the long-term passes. The way Joseph's running, you may consider a long-term pass. 1 month pass will get you all of the NCAA tournament as well as NBA. Probably taking near the play-in round right now into April 13th. That'll be right near the start of the play-in round. So no better time to get that 1 month pass. Also, 2 weeks of baseball in there as the U.S. opening day is March 28th, coming very close. I hope better news for Cole. We got that coming in today. Indeed. So get on board there with the Joseph over at Tony'sPicks.com. That promo code TonyT at checkout will save that 20% off. You can access Joseph's picks by clicking the link in the description. Click the All Cappers tab. Get signed up. All right, Joseph. I know a Yankee fan. What's your thoughts going into the season?
I'm nervous for the news. Be honest with you.
Yeah.
We're going to hit plenty home runs, but we need some pitching.
Yeah, Snell's still out there.
Story. Right, I know.
That might put the pressure. That might put the pressure to get Snell, right?
Right. He's still out there too, and I expect some regression from him because he just performed over his head last year. But even 80% of what he was last year, we'll take that.
That's right. No doubt about that. Plus, they'll have hitting behind him if he gets over there, right? That lineup in that short porch there in right field there for those Yankee hitters. So we'll see. You gonna make it some of the games this year?
Oh yeah, definitely. I like to catch at least one. Probably go to a few this year.
Yeah, very good. All right, as you guys go ahead and get signed up with Joseph Schultz with a little bit of baseball talk. It's coming up. It's coming up here in a couple of weeks. 2 weeks away, right? 3/14/28. That's 2 weeks. 2 weeks from today is the U.S. opening day, and I know the Dodgers close out there.
I love it.
You love it, right?
I love this time of year. But besides the beginning of the NFL, this is my favorite time in sports.
Absolutely. Very exciting time right now with opening day. I know the Dodgers close out their spring training today because they have to go to Korea to play the Padres. They'll have a preseason game on a Saturday, and then boom, ready to go start the season on the 20th and 21st. All right, guys. That's going to do it for our NBA rundown. Get signed up with Joseph's Plays. We mentioned that 30-day pass. So if you want to try them out, there's a 3, 7, or 30-day pass as well as a 1 year. So get signed up. Don't forget that promo code TonyT at checkout to save that 20% off. All right, that's our NBA rundown. For Joseph, I'm Tony. We're back again tomorrow with another rundown.